Gléibh fáilte mhór I ullach an an session seo má dhéin a bhí Gaelic agus Ceòl Traidiseanta Sabhal Mòr Ostaig. Tá sin dul chumalantéisisin seo as sa bhearla gus a bhí chom na seaigh go chuaigh duine nach an buloch filanta sa chan an únsa chuúban na chùrsa. Welcome everybody to the session about Sabhal Mòr Ostaig's BA in Gaelic and music, traditional music. I was just saying we're going to hold this session in English so that everyone who isn't quite fluent in the language yet has the opportunity to understand what our great panel here is going to tell us about the course. Yes, because there's different options to begin your degree course in Gaelic and music. You can either come in year one as a fluent speaker and do our Gaelic and communication course, or you can do our An Cúrsa Cuimhnis, which is our immersion course for beginners and intermediates. And there's the option to do modules in music and go on to the degree course from second year onwards. We also do distance learning courses, An Cúrsa Iontaigh and Cúrsa Arstas, which takes you to the second year. And we do some brilliant short courses, which are a great starter to get yourself interested in the language and music if you're not already involved. So I'm just going to ask our great panel here to introduce themselves, maybe starting with yourself, Decker.
Diciadain, hello, Cluinn, Mr. Decker Forrest, stiùiriche, of course, a Ceòl, agus a bheatha go sin, ha mi shine na pipa, agus ha mi nam neach round so hello everyone. It's great to have this opportunity to speak to you all and let you know a little bit more about the music course here at Sabhal Mòr Ostaig. I am the program leader for the BA Honours Gaelic and Traditional Music program. I also am involved in research. I play the pipes and I teach a number of different modules on the program, and I'll explain a little bit more about that as we continue on.
Leah, agus Hucapin, Christine. Oh, has her mute.
Okay. Hello, it's Mr. Christine Primrose. Agus ha mi de big gabber show ochen MW. My name is Christine Primrose, and I've been working here for many a year teaching Gaelic song. And if any of you have any questions about that, I'm more than willing to answer them. So we teach songs on every subject, which the Gaelic language does have. We're very fortunate to have such a rich tradition of songs. And that's what I do. Sinead?
Yeah. I guess Deirdre, who can tell you
Is gama hulutanya, smisha Diciadain. I ha misha edvi sas at a chùrsa on blian a galov. So my name's Diciadain, and I've been involved in the course since September last year, and I teach on a couple of the modules. I'm also a Gaelic singer and play the Clàradh and piano as well. And yeah, delighted to be involved in the course and happy to be here this evening to share a bit of information and answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Deirdre. Agus Thomas List.
Hello, it's Mr. Thomas. I'm the bliana in Cúrsa Ceòl. Hello, my name is Thomas, and I'm on the third year of the music course at Sabhal Mòr Ostaig. And I play the pipes and a bit of the whistle, and also involved in the Gaelic song with Christine.
Skinil, cute thing. I guess Decker, big imagine of bacon a Cluinn mun chùrsa is toishin a capity. Be great to hear a bit about the course from yourself.
Hi, Gàidhlig. The program has been running now for about 15 years, and it's still the only honours program anywhere in the world where students can learn about Gaelic music, culture, history, as well as theory and a range of related professional skills entirely through the medium of Gaelic. Students get one-to-one lessons in their main instruments or voice. They work together in ensemble groups, including singing, and they take part in a range of public performances throughout the year. And some can be very high profile. So for example, this year, we took part in the 50th anniversary of Sabhal Mòr concert down in Glasgow. And in other years, we've been involved with concerts at Crack, also in Glasgow. The Pan-Celtic Festival in Ireland as well. And then there are other events as well that are more community-based. Just thinking about this year, for examples, we were up in Kilmode, in the Kilmuir, up in the north end of the island, also in Bheatha. And these were collaborative events with local community groups and schools that aim to help communities connect with their heritage through archive recordings hosted by Toper and Dúilthais. As to the curriculum itself, the key subjects are practical classes like your one-to-one lessons, ensemble classes, and then there's theory, composing and arranging that Deirdre teaches. We have modules in history and context and research skills. These classes, they offer students a deeper understanding of the music, and gives their own musical identities more depth and so on. And also we have more professional subjects, a number of different topics that fall under sort of business studies, and so you're recording, producing, copyrights, laws, performance rights, self-employment, musicians union, self-promotion is another important topic as part of that. And again, my esteemed colleague Deirdre heads that one up. I think that's kind of us in a nutshell. We're quite different compared to other music courses. There's certain key areas in any music program that are generic to the industry: ensemble and music communication skills, musical literacy, and a solid understanding of business and professional matters, and of course being able to perform at a professional standard. But this program is designed to incorporate important cultural aspects of Gaelic traditional music too. We put a tremendous emphasis on understanding the links between language and musical rhythm, for example. We also take a broader approach to how musicians learn repertoire. For example, if you're a piper or a fiddler and you're going to learn a Gaelic song melody, you would learn from a Gaelic singer rather than just another piper tutor. If you're a guitarist learning to play West Coast style 2/4 march, you might get a lesson with a box player like Ailey, who's with us, or Patrick Modeston. It's a small course, and you are part of a team of musicians who pull together to set up PA at gigs, who help promote them, who come together at all hours of the night to rehearse and have a laugh. And as a student at SMO, you're part of a larger community of students with other interests and career goals too. And that makes for a richer, broader student experience than you might find elsewhere. And at the end of it, and especially with Gaelic, you'll have added a few extra strings to your bow that graduates from other programs might not necessarily have been fortunate enough to acquire.
Mm-hmm. And thanks very much. And Christine, it's kind of impossible to understand traditional Gaelic music without having an understanding of the language and the songs. What do you think are the benefits of learning on this course through the medium of Gaelic?
The benefits, well, you learn a lot about what the backstory of these songs were. It tells about the social history of the time when these songs were composed. Because of the songs, because of the wide area of subjects we cover in song, it's interesting to find how people reacted to certain situations in their own communities, how they were treated in their communities, how they reacted, all of that, which makes all the songs more interesting. Plus the fact I've been told, although I'm a native Gaelic speaker myself, I've been told over the years on numerous occasions about how much singing and the songs have helped them in bringing their Gaelic to a better, higher standard. And also it puts words that they use, it puts the words into context and how to use the language. So it's very beneficial from that viewpoint about how they are using the language.
Mm-hmm. And it's not just Gaelic singers that benefit from this. Accompanists and tune players will.
No, that's true. That's true. Because a lot of the musicians, when trad musicians are playing, for example, they're playing Gaelic song on an instrument. You know, it makes a huge difference if they know the song and the time, because the rhythm of the word dictates the rhythm of the music, rather than sticking to the same sort of treatment of every line, if you know what I mean. So it's much more interesting. The musicians seem to enjoy playing that way. Box players, especially fiddle players. I don't know about Thomas, what he thinks, but I've had great positive feedback from instrumentalists who never ever thought really that it would make that much of a difference. But once they start exploring it, they immediately discover how they approach their own music in a different way. And it's, at the end of the day, it's just a more interesting way of expressing the music for them.
Have you found that, Thomas?
Yes, with learning the words to the songs and singing the songs, like if you've got quite a lot of the tunes that I was playing before, I came to Ceòl Mòr Ostaig, playing tunes out of, say, the Scots Guards book or anything like that, slow airs, Gaelic airs, and you'd just be playing them as well as I've heard them. I've a rough idea of what I was doing with them if I knew them. But then if you're singing them, I usually just sing them in my head while I'm playing the pipes. So if you do that, then you'll have it the way it's supposed to be played. Far more musical, and it goes with the words.
And of course, the bagpipes were banned during a certain point in Scottish history, so the song became even more important. I mean, you guys will know a lot more about that history than I do.
That's for sure, yeah. Well, the thing about singing is it doesn't cost anything. So that's why communities, back in the day, there was always strong singing traditions in communities, because it didn't cost the people anything. People didn't have money to spend on it buying instruments. So singing was developed quite a bit, and Gaelic song, it's an unbroken tradition. It's been going on for hundreds and hundreds of years, and as an unbroken tradition. Mm-hmm. And so we're talking about a lot of history here, and the power of it, it's quite amazing. I feel quite privileged to actually be able to sing about somebody's personal feelings that are in song, or some event that's happened, that's actually happened in history. It's quite something, if you're got access to that and you're able to express it yourself. You just try and treat it with as much respect as you can, because that's how it should be, because it is an oral tradition and we are the guardians, of that tradition. So you just do your best with it to pass it on to somebody else. That's how it works, I feel.
And what sort of songs do you teach on the course?
Oh, every kind. Every single kind of song we have. We've got, songs about everything that affected the human condition. I teach, I do one-to-one with people who are interested in developing their own repertoire. And I also do the class for instrumentalists, which I show the repertoire for that. Obviously, is you have to be. It's a special kind of repertoire. Songs that are more conducive to arrangement, for example. So we have lots of work songs, which bring in spinning songs, walking songs. We have every kind of. See, the Gaels were always, if there was any activity on the go, they would sing to give them a bit of adrenaline, to keep it going and to pass the time. Very, very sociable people in history, the Celts in general, and the Gaels especially as well. So we have these kind of songs. We have the loss of somebody, laments. We have emigration songs. We have love songs, both happy, both not so happy. We have them. And I like to sort of, if somebody's interested in developing their own repertoire, I like to find out where they come from and find a song that suits, from their area if we can find that. And, just because I think that's important to know songs from your own area, if that's possible. If not, we have plenty others that they can choose as well. So we always find something that will suit them.
Brilliant. And yourself, Deirdre, can you tell us a bit about what you're teaching on the course?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm involved in a couple of modules, one of them Ceòl, which is the theory course, and I teach the second years that, and it's a bit a subject that kind of covers a bit of modes and melodies and harmonies that are kind of relevant to traditional music as well, and Highland music, Gaelic music. And we kind of take a look at songs and tunes that and how the modes fit in with them. And we also look a bit at Decker mentioned before, some composing and arranging, and also transcriptions, kind of transcribing a lot of archive recordings from dà-chànanach. So it's a great resource to look into old archive recordings and transcribing them. And that as well, I think, really helps to kind of give a deep sense of the songs and tunes as well as the words when you're analysing them and writing them down. You get a deep understanding of how the melodies function and how the words interact with the melodies and inform the melodies as well. So we look at that using dà-chànanach as a starting point for recordings, for transcriptions, and the composing and arranging is lovely. Christine mentioned an unbroken tradition, and it's a really nice chance to use all of those influences from what has been before to create something new and carry that tradition and keep that going, and composing in a style that is possibly influenced by tunes and songs that have gone before, and how to create something today that is still, it's somebody's own creation, yet it's still very relevant and supported by everything else that's gone before. So that's the Ceòl course. And then in the third year, I've been involved with the fiosrachaidh professionta. That's a mouthful. SFEP, which is, as Decker mentioned, the course that kind of deals a bit with business studies. So Thomas has been in my classes for that one for the last 6 months, and that's a module, I suppose, when you're on a course like this, there is so much that's drawing from tradition, so much that's drawing from communities, but there's also a focus on looking towards a potential career as well in traditional music and equipping people with skills, and just a bit of a starting point to then go into a career in traditional music, because there's so much scope for a career now. There's a huge music industry that is very wide-ranging and exciting, and so that course kind of deals with some of the drier things such as tax returns and as Decker mentioned, kind of musicians' union law and legalities and protection from groups and support from funding and things like that. So we have a little look at those things, as well as looking at how to promote yourself, a bit of social media work and a bit of work in the studio with recording as well, and tying all of these skills together, as I say, for a toolkit to then take with you into a professional career in music.
Mm-hmm. And we've got some fantastic alumni on the course, some of whom have gone into performance music as a full-time career, and others who've taken their degree in music, or they've just done 1 or 2 or 3 years and gone on to do teaching, but still gigging on the side at the weekend. So that's the great thing about the course, isn't it, that we have Ellen MacDonald in Dive, who is a very successful touring musician, and then we have the likes of Roya McLean, who is now a Gaelic teacher in Inverness, but she's also a very busy accordion player on the side. So there's different career options, isn't there?
Yes, certainly, absolutely. Sorry,
And I
was that for me?
Yeah. Can I just say something that came to me? Nowadays, because of the budget cuts in with local councils and everything, the first one to go, of course, is the arts budget. So a lot of schools don't have the opportunity for their children to get, an opportunity to hear Gaelic song. And if the teacher that they have has managed to learn a few songs, or they can teach that as well, along with their own course, so that's a big plus from this course too. I was thinking of Roya there, Roya, sort of people who carry on into the teaching. That gives them an opportunity to sort of show their skills that they had learned here.
And Deirdre, you're from Skye, and it'd just be nice to hear how Gaelic has sort of helped your career, and what you're going on to do with teaching and podcasts and broadcasts, all sorts, as well as performance.
I mean, it's undoubtedly shaped my career. I was fortunate to have been brought up as a native speaker, went through Gaelic medium education, and I went on to study Gaelic singing. Before this course existed, I went down to Glasgow and studied Gaelic singing at what was then called the RSAMD, now the RCS. And absolutely, having Gaelic has definitely given me a very varied career. And I think that's something important to mention as well, that when I talk about that toolkit for a professional career, and as well touching on what you were saying, Christine, that a career these days in music isn't necessarily one thing, whether that might be performing. So many musicians now are involved in lots of aspects that all tie in together. And so myself, I've been very involved in teaching. I started teaching for the Fios movement when I was about 16, shadow teaching, and then went on to become a regular teacher of Gaelic singing or Clàradh or step dancing or group work around the Fios and around Scotland. I also, I've taken a few wee tangents across to the other side of the world for a few years, but always coming back to Gaelic and to Gaelic music. And now I have a balance of teaching traditional music, podcasting. I developed my own podcast series a couple of years ago, as a way to kind of explore Gaelic songs just a bit further in depth and to share that with people. And I think podcasting has become this amazing platform to share, and it's quite a captive audience, which is a really, really lovely thing to share what you know and what you learn with others. And I think that touches as well what Christine was saying about we're the guardians and we pass it on. So yeah, the podcast is a great opportunity for that, and anybody with a mic and a curiosity for something can be involved in that and get going with that. And then also different opportunities to perform, whether that's at festivals or in village halls, or to do recordings, and whether it's part of a big band, like a big electronic modern fusion type of bands like I've been involved in before, or whether it's something really intimate and just solo Gaelic singing. There are so many opportunities, and there's so much space for everybody to do their thing in so many mediums. And it's definitely, without a doubt, if I didn't have Gaelic and I hadn't gone on to study Gaelic singing and music, I don't think I would have any of these opportunities available to me like I do. So I'm very thankful for that.
Can I come in on that, please, Aileen? I just think that it's an incredibly important point that Deirdre's making. And, over the years, it's become apparent to me that people don't always understand that a viable career in music is possible, because it's not 9 to 5, Monday through Friday work. As Deirdre was saying, it requires a set of diverse skills ranging from performance, teaching, recording, producing, as well as a knowledge of self-employment. But I think as we're hearing, an ability in Gaelic is unquestionably a key asset in allowing you to have a successful, rewarding freelance career as a musician. And I think that it's instructive to look at the staff and graduates, other staff and graduates. Sometimes they're one and the same, to get a sense of how it can work. Some of our earliest graduates, like Roya, you mentioned, Aileen, who went on to become Gaelic medium teachers. They've incorporated their knowledge and skills in music to enhance what they're able to bring into the classroom. There are people like Ailey McFadgen and Christine, who have regular employment in Gaelic-related jobs, but augment their careers with work as professional performers. You mentioned Aileen, Ewan Henderson and Ellen MacDonald. They work within Gaelic media and flexible roles that allow them to continue as world-class touring musicians. I'm sometimes asked to give advice to, in particular, young people who are considering their next steps and as they move into their careers. And I frequently say more or less the same thing. It's about doing what you enjoy and giving yourself options. So if you enjoy music and you have an interest in Gaelic, you've already identified two really latent areas that you can use to set yourself apart from the crowd and move towards a rewarding, dynamic, viable career.
Great, thank you very much. And I think it's time to hear from Thomas about your route to Ceòl Mòr Ostaig. What was your background before you were at Ceòl Mòr Ostaig, and why did you decide to come here?
Well, I started off doing Gaelic in school. I started off in primary school in Dunoon, Bunscoil High Clàradh, just outside Dunoon. I started off there and I did primary 1 to 7 there. And then I went to the high school, or the grammar school, Dunoon Grammar School, and I took Gaelic as a subject. So it was a bit like French or German. You would get a few periods, about a few 50-minute block periods of Gaelic, and then do it that way. So I did that, and then it came to 6th year, and I was deciding what to do. I had two main options. I had a few other options. I took tons going to other kind of jobs that aren't to do with music, so I'll not mention them. But the main two I had was the Conservatoire, Royal Conservatoire up in Glasgow, or Ceòl Mòr Ostaig. So I was debating about that. But I decided, since I'd spent that long doing Gaelic and I always had an interest, and I've got family, not close family, but family with Gaelic. So I was keen to keep it going. So that was what I chose. I decided to keep Gaelic and the music side of things going, come to Ceòl Mòr Ostaig. So I did that, and I did because I'd done Gaelic medium education, I had a bit of Gaelic. It wasn't anything special, but it was all right. So I went into Gaelic and communication with Tim Armstrong. So I did that, Gaelic as Clàradh, did that course for a year. But on the side, I chose this course, Gaelic and Traditional Music. So I had my weekly lesson with Decker. I had the group work with Christine and Decker as well. And then I also had work on sound and recording with Hector McInnes. So I think that was the three main ones I had for first. Oh, no, I didn't. I had Ewan Henderson as well for theory. Chori Ahoon, just the one that Deirdre's teaching, but Chori, the second one. So I had that, and I did that. That was good. And then, yes, well, that's why I came to Ceòl Mòr Ostaig.
So the Gaelic immersion was an important part of your decision.
Yes, well, keeping Gaelic going, because I thought if I was going to Glasgow and you go to the conservatoire, there is the option there. I mean, I believe Josh Dixon, who runs the course there, he does have Gaelic, he does, but I don't think you can't really get the same as Ceòl Mòr Ostaig in that respect. You don't, if you're doing it once a week like I was at school, you sort of stay at the same sort of level. It's not as you don't come on as quick. You don't learn as quickly.
Mm-hmm. And what does a typical day at Ceòl Mòr Ostaig look like for you on the BA Gaelic and Music? You're going into 4th year now.
Yes, well, the typical day, you'd start off breakfast and then you'd have a class. So for me, I'd probably have Gaelic on just a standard day. I'd have a Gaelic class with Mark Ridden, so you would learn about grammar and about writing or speaking, any of these, that kind of thing. So you'd have that, and then maybe after that I might have skill and roundski. I might have research skills at Diciadain, so you might have that, and that's where you're learning how to put together a piece of academic work. So how to do a project and how to do research. So you learn about that, and then you maybe have lunch, and in the afternoon you maybe have a group work class with Christine and Decker. So we'd have a group, the group of us that are on the course, and you'd be trying to put together sets together. So you'd have different instruments and singers, and everyone would come together, and you would create sets. So we had for all different things. So we'd have sets for trips away to Barra, or sets for doing concerts, and then you'd have towards the second half of the semester you'd be working for your exam. So you'd have sets for that, and you'd be working on your present yourself on the stage and doing your intro, how to conduct yourself and all that kind of thing. And then you'd probably have dinner after that, and quite often a typical day, it's a busy day this one, but Clàradh would be open. So that's the on-campus pub or bar, so that would be open. So you'd maybe go up there if you fancied it, and then there's all sorts of things there. There's often sometimes there's a session, so you come again with the music students and students who are maybe there doing an Gaelic immersion course, and they play an instrument. Mm-hmm. There's lots of folk like that, so they would bring up their instrument, and you would be able to play with all sorts of folk. So that'd be a typical day, I'd say. Then you'd go home, and that's it.
And have you had a chance to do a bit of exploring around Skye as well?
Yes, I know, plenty chance for that. There is trips. Yanni at the college, she often puts on trips like kayaking. There's a lot of opportunities to do kayaking, or just general walks. And then quite often there's a group of students that maybe go out and do the hills. I quite enjoyed doing the hills, so I've done quite a few hills in Skye and around the area. So you can do that if you like that, or even if you just going for a general walk. There's loads of that as well. So there's lots of chances outdoors anyway. There's plenty of that.
So you don't miss the big city?
No, I'm not too keen in the city anyway. So if you're not too keen in the city, I suppose it's a very good place to come.
Uh-huh. But you've had a lot of opportunities as well for gigs.
Yeah, well, yes, yep.
Connections this year.
As well, yes, the 50th anniversary for Ceòl Mòr Ostaig. So we went down to that. We all went down to Glasgow, and we played in the fruit market for that. So we learnt a lot, for example, a lot of skills from that. So we were doing running. You go off and get folk and make sure they're all right in time, and you find out how it works behind the stage, how everything goes on. It's a bit stressy. We learnt that as well, but you do find out how you put together a concert like that and how it all works. So that's very interesting. So we did that, and then you do other trips that are a bit more, as Decker mentioned there, they're community based. So you've got like Barra and Kilmore. So by Barra, we were working with the History Society in Barra and Toprandochlis. So we're doing that, and we're playing alongside a lot of the children there, a lot of the folk in the children in the primary school and the school there. So we had that as well as Toprandochlis and others that were there. So that was a collaboration. And then up at Kilmuir, we were playing at the Blast Festival that happens every year in Skye. So we had that, and that was great. And we met a lot because we're in Barra and Kilmuir, that we met a lot of different people with Gaelic, so there's plenty of chance to speak to different folk out with the college.
And you were saying before we came on here that your best memory of Ceòl Mòr Ostaig so far anyway was your trip to Barra.
Yes, I enjoyed it. It was very good. It was very good. It's a pretty place, Barra, so it was very nice. We got over and got a chance to go around the beaches and a bit of downtime as well, and out for dinner and things like that. So it was very enjoyable.
Very good. And just the last question here for you, Thomas, was about, you're going into fourth year. There is an opportunity to do an exchange, and maybe Decker could talk about this as well, to Cape Breton or Ireland. That is an opportunity in fourth year. I don't know if anyone wants to talk about that.
Yes, yes, that's an opportunity in fourth year. So you can go to Canada or Ireland. You can go to you get a choice of two there. So this year it was mainly Canada was the option this year. So you can do different things about. Well, we learned a bit of what kind of courses, what kind of modules you'd be doing over there. So if you've got an interest, for example, in culture and learning the culture over there, things like the clearances and when the Gaels moved over to Canada, so you can learn about that. Or if, as Deirdre was mentioning earlier on about step dancing, there's plenty of that over there, and it's very strong over there. So if you've got an interest in that, you can learn about that as well. And then just you can meet different musicians and make connections if you go to Canada and these kind of places.
But you've enjoyed Ceòl Mòr Ostaig so much that you're going to stay.
Yes, well, yes. Yeah, I think I'll stay. Yeah, I mean, it depends the type of person you are. I think that's the most important thing I'd say. If you like doing travelling and going to see different things like that, then it's be great. But I mean, I suppose if you just depends how you feel, I suppose.
Very good. And I suppose a question for everyone: have you got any advice for anyone starting in the next academic year in September? Anything you would say to them?
I would just say take every opportunity that you can, because you'll only regret those that you never took rather than anything that you did go for. Any curiosity, just go for it.
I think the key word there is opportunity. I mean, if you're coming out of high school and you're not sure what you want to do, you are in the majority, and you're probably similar to just about everyone here at one stage. And so if you're interested in music and you're interested in Gaelic and you want to push those interests a little bit, come and talk to us, and do an audition. Find out what your options are with us. I think that's about the best advice I could give you.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Probably say as well, if you do come to Ceòl Mòr Ostaig, it's a good idea to go to the events, all the events you can, especially when you're starting, to get to know folk. It's not a race, but as quickly as possible would be good, because then you can branch out with folk. If you know people and you meet lots of different people, there's more help about, and it's a bit better if you know people. So it's good to come to all the events you can.
Mm-hmm. Great. And Decker, I don't know if you want to talk a bit more about maybe the sort of the structure of the course, the various visiting tutors we have, and how you do an application, what the application and audition process might be like.
Wow, all those things. Okay. Well, maybe I'll just say a little bit about the options that there are on the course and who does it. And yeah, I can do that. I think one thing that maybe hasn't been made quite clear yet is that although it's a 4-year program, many students will come for just a year or two to focus on developing their performance skills, knowledge of Gaelic traditional music, its history, how to make a living from it, whilst gaining confidence in Gaelic language. And we've heard about some of the graduates that the program has produced. that are contributing across the creative industries in Scotland today as professional musicians, teachers, broadcasters. It's interesting that over the last few years in particular, we've seen a lot of Gaelic singers come. And, a lot of them, as well as other musicians as well, a lot of them are very accomplished already when they come to the college, but they want to take that break, if you like, in their career to really focus on their music and focus on their language. We've mentioned Ewan Henderson, Andrew McPherson, Katie McFarlane, trying to think of some of the others, Callum McCall, Ailish Sutherland. They were all very accomplished before they came to the college. And, the singers in particular, Lindsay Mitchell was one of our first graduates, Alistair Curry, Kieran McInnes, Callum McCall, who I said already, and maybe the latest, Peter McPherson. They've all taken advantage of the classes offered by Christine and have actually won the traditional gold medal or the silver pendant competitions at the Mod while studying at Sabhal Mòr or shortly thereafter. So even if you're planning to come just for a year to study on an chùrsa comais or Gaelic as Commonwealth, you have the option of taking a music module where you get to work with other musicians and get one-to-one lessons, use the recording studio, which I don't think I mentioned yet, and take part in concerts and ceilidhs. The staff that we have are absolutely world-class, musicians and scholars who know the industry. My colleagues here tonight, Christine Deirdre, Ailey McFadden, who's on the controls, I think. They teach on the program. We have Patrick Modeston, John Purser, Innes Watson, and depending on the needs of the students from year to year, we may have workshops or even classes taught by individuals like Ewan Henderson or Angus and Ailey Mackenzie, James Lindsay, Ewan Cameron, and others. It's a small program with a tiny student to staff ratio. It's part of the way we are and have always been at Sabhal Mòr Ostaig. If you're a piper and you need help with your reeds or need to use the staff room microwave to heat your seasoning, that's not a problem. If you need a bit of extra help with the song you're learning, you've only to ask Christine and she'll make sure you get sorted out. It's a lovely program and it really is great for a lot of people. The music studio, recording studio rather, it's a tremendous resource, and it's run first and foremost for the course as a training resource, and students learn studio skills and learn how to record for various in-house and external projects, and it's also available for hire, and that helps maintain a steady stream of musicians or other professionals engaged with voiceover work or for radio programs, podcasts, and so on. And a number of albums or parts of albums have been recorded there over the years. So if any of this sounds interesting to anyone, you can apply through UCAS like any other program or get in touch with Ailey Grant in admissions. Make sure that you explain that you're interested in doing music, and we'll make sure that you get the information on the audition requirements. As far as the audition is concerned, you would generally need to play 3 or 4 contrasting pieces of music or songs that show Christine and I what you're able to do. There will be a short interview as part of the audition too, to make sure that you understand, you have the opportunity to ask what you want to ask about the course, and that you're sure that this is right for you. And I think that's about it. I think it's important that we make it clear if anyone has any questions, just get in touch, and we're happy to help anyone.
Very good. And the course, the Freshers Week this year is the end of August, going into the beginning of September, and so we've kind of got up until then to take more applications. So there's time yet for anyone who's interested in 2023 to 24. I don't know if anyone has any more questions for the panel. I haven't seen anything come through. If anyone has any closing remarks that they feel they want to tell everyone about. If not, we can leave it there. And as Decker mentioned, the admissions department at Sabhal Mòr Ostaig, their email address is smo.uhi.ac.uk. So that's IARRTAS at smo.uhi.ac.uk. And we'll be happy to take phone calls or emails from anyone who wants to learn more. So thank you very much to the panel and to everyone who was listening. And we'll see you all soon.
Thank you, Bob.